The Martian, Jasson Domínguez, is out of this world for the New York Yankees. The Blue Jays offense explodes, and Teoscar Hernandez returns to Hollywood. This is Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
That's right. This is Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night. I'm your host, John Frisch, one half of Locked On Angels. It's my fault that we're getting a late start here just because the Angels took forever to win their game. And, of course, with me is my co-host, JD Hafron of Locked On Cardinals. Coming up on tonight's show, Mother Nature finally lets the Twins and Guardians play some baseball. The Tigers look to establish their MLB best record in baseball. And Logan O'Hoppe, catcher for the Angels, hits 2 home runs for a combined 901 feet. But first, let's take it to the Bronx, where the Rangers meet the Yankees in New York City. The Yankees in first place in the AL East. The Rangers trying to avoid a third straight loss. And they got Jacob deGrom on the mound. So the big question here is, could the Yankees overcome Jacob deGrom, who's had a great start to his season? Looks like the Jacob deGrom of old. As long as he's healthy, he's good. Brian of Locked On Yankees has the lowdown if the Bronx Bombers could get it done in this one. Let's take a look.
Yankees win their third in a row and seal another series victory against Texas, taking the first 2 games of this series off of Jasson Domínguez's first career walk-off home run. I'm Brian McKeon from Locked On Yankees, and hey, another really good pitching performance from the New York Yankees. Somehow were able to win a game that Jacob deGrom started and pitched really well in, and the Yankees battled again, proving that they can win games where not a lot of runs are scored. Those things are so key, and we've been saying it all year on Locked On Yankees. The 2 players we're looking to get going, and the 2 guys that have gotten going over the last few weeks, Cody Bellinger and Jasson Domínguez. 2 guys that came in clutch in this game and helped the Yankees win in this game. Absolutely massive stuff as the Yankees get ready to head on their West Coast road trip to play Texas later on tomorrow. You can catch all the news on Locked On Yankees.
JD, we got a comment here. Elsa's dad says, is Jason D for real? What do you say, JD?
He's been a top prospect for the Yankees for a couple of years. He's certainly good from the left side of the plate. He is poo hitting from the right side. I'll just be honest with you. The numbers back me up on this one. Let me look real quick. Versus left-handed pitching, he's batting 109. Ooh. Right? Against the righties, 308, 5 home runs, 17 RBIs. I always wonder why people continue to switch hit when they clearly stink at one side of the plate. It'd be different if the splits were pretty... No, if you're horrible, then why? Why do you keep doing it?
Yeah, don't do that to yourself. Now, we mentioned deGrom, and it was not a bad start whatsoever. 7 innings pitched, 2 runs, 3 hits, a home run from Cody Bellinger. He left the game with a 3-2 lead thanks to 2 home runs from Jake Berger and a solo shot from Sam Haggerty. The Yankees get one back in the 8th by Aaron Judge with an RBI single. And Jasson Domínguez, as we mentioned, hits the walk-off solo shot to win it in the 9th. The first walk-off homer by a Yankee since September 20th, 2022, where Giancarlo Stanton hit a grand slam to defeat the Pirates. A game also remembered because Judge hit his 60th home run in that season. Of course, he went on to win the MVP. And as Brian mentioned, Bellinger has a 15-game hit streak, a career high for him. The Yankees do win 3 straight. The Rangers have now lost 3 in a row. Where is Giancarlo Stanton, by the way? He's missing in action, isn't he?
He's still hurt. He remembers elbows and stuff are bothering. Like he's messed up, but they're not really missing him all that much. If he was a healthy Stanton, obviously he's a menace in that lineup. But so far they haven't really needed him all that much. So things continue to roll well for the Yanks.
Not a bad problem to have when you say, Giancarlo, we don't need him. We're good. Hey, let's take it to the Padres meeting the Blue Jays in Toronto. The Padres had 4 losses in a row coming into this game. The Blue Jays looking to get to 500 with the win here. We got Carter from Locked On Blue Jays who has the lowdown on a total team effort that the Blue Jays put in to this one. Let's check it out.
A win for the Toronto Blue Jays. 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points for this team. The pitching was unbelievable. The offense was firing on all cylinders. This is how you take advantage of your scuffling Padres team. Nathan Lucas has been on an absolute tear recently. He has a home run in this game, multiple good at-bats. That's the 3rd best OPS now on the Toronto Blue Jays. Some people wanted this guy DFA, and he really started this entire rally with that bunt. This guy has been on the loose recently. But this all really started with Kevin Gausman. We got that vintage Kevin Gausman start that we have been craving. 19 whiffs, the fastball sitting at 96.5. That is going to play every single day. He looked unbelievable. 7 innings strong. You love to see it. That Dalton Varsho grand slam was awesome. This offense was unbelievable today. And thank you to Manny Machado and the Padres defense in that 7th inning for forgetting how to play baseball. What a fun game to watch. It's always a lot of fun when an opposing player comes in against your baseball team. The Padres are asking us to sweep this series. Let's go out and take it.
There you go. I love the enthusiasm there. JD, what happened with San Diego in this one? How many errors did Manny Machado have here?
Manny had 3 tonight, giving him 9 on the season. It's just one of those weird games that I had a game once where I had 3 errors in the same inning. It was a bizarro world when it happened, and I'm sure that's kind of how Manny Machado felt at this point too. He's like, what am I doing out here? It's just a bad night. He also had a couple of hits, though. Him and Luis Ariz each had a couple of hits, but only 4 of the 5 total hits that San Diego had. Their offense has really been struggling. That's 5 in a row now that they've lost. They dropped to 27-20, which isn't bad, but they got back-to-back shutouts and have only scored 3 total runs during this 5-game losing streak. And with that lineup, it's kind of wild to think about. Not something that a lot of people saw coming.
Yeah, absolutely. The Padres really hurting for a win right now. Let's take it to the Phillies meeting the Rockies. The first place Phillies, I should say. They've been having a lot of fun up in Colorado. The last 2 games, they've had 17 hits in each one, not across 2 games, but in each one to start this series. Are they going to do it again? Well, let's find out from Connor Thomas of Locked On Phillies. He's going to let us know if they were able to do it for a 3rd night in a row.
A bit of an off night for the Phil's offense, but they still find a way to win against the Colorado Rockies. Yeah, 9-5. I'm Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. Only 12 hits. That's actually down from 17 in each of the first 2 games of the series, but obviously I'm kidding. The Phil's offense is still red hot and rolling. Colorado, God bless you, Rockies fans. That team is a mess, and the Phillies are taking full advantage out there. Taijuan Walker was okay in his start in relief of Aaron Nola, who went on the injured list last week. So good to see Taijuan Walker get the job done in a tough spot for him. He's been versatile this year. JT Realmuto goes yard. That was great to see. He had a great day at the dish, but who doesn't when the Phillies play the Colorado Rockies? The Phillies have now won another series. They go for the 4-game sweep tomorrow. It's just been a beautiful, beautiful time at Coors Field out there in Denver. We'll talk more on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.
A beautiful time and a beautiful ballpark with a terrible team. JD, coming into Wednesday, the Dodgers had 30 wins, Giants 29, Padres 27, Diamondbacks 26, the Rockies 8. Where do you even begin with this team? How do you fix this?
Here's the thing. You can't tear it down because it's already been torn down.
Right.
So now you're really just at the very bottom of the barrel, and you're hoping some of these guys will end up clicking. But even a guy that I was kind of excited about going into the season, Brendan Doyle, who's the center fielder for that, even he looks terrible at the plate. So I honestly don't know, but it's a dark time for the Colorado Rockies franchise right now, and it doesn't look like there's any light at the end of the tunnel coming up soon.
No, not when you haven't even hit double-digit wins on May 21st, 22nd. Hey, we're going to keep it going with our look around the league. Teoscar Hernandez, known stud, returns to a lineup full of known studs in the LA Dodgers. We're going to find out how his return went, and we'll get into that in just a minute.
Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House, it's the reliable way to order your products online. They got a very easy-to-use website, and it is packed with helpful resources and, of course, the latest product information to help you get the job done right. Got a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands. You're going to find exactly what you need. And the great thing is it's going to get delivered to you fast from coast to coast. So it doesn't matter where exactly you're staying and what you call home. They're going to get it to you. And if you need help with an order, Supply House offers you expert support and industry-leading service. And so you'll always be able to talk to a real person, which is always nice. I hate hitting the buttons and going, press 1, press 3. Drives me nuts. I want to talk to a human. And with Supply House, you can do that. So Trade Pros, if you're looking for that extra edge, their free Trade Master program, it's awesome. It offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line. You get free shipping and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. So join the Trade Master program. Do it today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use that promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com.
Back here on a Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, we're taking it to the Mets, meeting the Red Sox in Boston. The New York Mets ended a frustrating road trip in Boston tonight. Here's Ryan Finkelstein of Locked On Mets to tell us how the Mets got some offensive help from an unlikely place. Here we go.
The New York Mets have finally snapped their losing streak, and the man responsible is none other than Brett Batty. This is Ryan Finkelstein, the host of Locked On Mets, at a time where the Mets were starved for that one big hit. It wasn't Francisco Lindor, it wasn't Juan Soto, it wasn't Pete Alonso. No, it was Brett Batty who came through not once but twice with a couple of clutch hits with runners in scoring position, driving in 3 runs, carrying the Mets to a victory over the Red Sox to salvage something on what was otherwise a disaster of a road trip. Is Brett Batty the third baseman of the future again? I'll be talking about that and more on tomorrow's show.
Hey, if he's doing stuff like that, he might have that job secured down the road. JD, when the regulars are slumping, of course, the Mets take this one 5-1 over the Red Sox. How important is it for somebody like Batty to come through for your team?
I mean, that's why you got 9 guys in the batting order, right? It's
right.
Not always going to be the star player every night that is going to be able to come through. There are going to be peaks and valleys each season, and you got to have those role players that can make a difference when the other guys aren't there for you. You know, they got to be able to step up. It's a team effort. Batty's a former first round pick and was a guy that, you know, as you mentioned, is he the guy again at third base? I don't know. I mean, let's not get it carried away because of one night, because over the last 7 games, he's batting a cool 158. Oof. I don't know if that puts a lot of confidence into Brett Batty, but one good night, perhaps it sparks something else. But yeah, the Mets, when the big guys are down, you got to have somebody else step up. And that was Brett Batty tonight.
Certainly sparked something for the Mets offense. Again, that 5-1 victory. You know, before Pete Alonso signed, there was talk of moving Vientos over to first and having Brett Batty play third base full time. They're going to have that conundrum again after this season is over. So we'll see how that one shakes out. Let's take it to Royals meeting the Giants in San Francisco. The series finale in the Bay Area. It was the Giants ace, Logan Webb, versus a Royals bullpen game. Jack Johnson of Locked On Royals shares how the Royals offense came to life at just the right time. Let's hear from Jack.
Finally back from the Bay Area, where the Royals took 2 out of 3 from the San Francisco Giants. I'm the host of Locked On Royals, Jack Johnson, giving you a few takeaways from today's 8-4 win. Now, it was to the surprise of everyone out there that this was the game they got the offense going against the Giants ace and Logan Webb. They compiled 8 runs. Now, only 6 of those came off of Webb, but they jumped on him from the get-go. Salvador Perez had a 3-hit game, Michael Massey had a 3-hit game, and Maikel Garcia set the table at the top of the order, as he did all series long. Now, on the pitching side of things, it was a bullpen game for them. So, in going up against the ace, the Royals went with Daniel Lynch on the mound, and then 5 other pitchers that combined to get things done in that 8-4 victory. So a much-needed rubber match win. Now they've got the off day, and they'll head off to Minneapolis to take on the Twins, who they are tied with in the American League Central.
Yeah, all of a sudden that middle of the American League Central is gotten a whole lot more interesting with the Twins going on that 13-game win streak that they had. Now, something interesting about this game, JD, I wanted to get your insight here, because Jordan Hicks came out of the bullpen for the Giants. Now, he was a starter for a while as he left the Cardinals. As a former Cardinal, what'd you think of him moving from the pen to the rotation for a while?
This has kind of been the story for Jordan Hicks throughout his entire career, going back to St. Louis. When he was a Cardinal, they kept doing this, and I just kept saying, pick a lane. Pick a freaking lane, dude. Either be a starter or be a reliever. It seems like he's had more success as a reliever, especially with his time in St. Louis. But even after they traded him, he goes to Toronto. He was outstanding in the bullpen for them. And San Francisco was willing to give him a chance. It's something that Jordan has wanted to do. He's like, I want to be a starter. That's what I want to do. So they gave him the opportunity, and he's not as good. He's just not. The numbers, batting average against as a reliever, 216 over his career. As a starter, 260. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
ERA, 3.73 as a reliever. As a starter, 4.91. Even his strikeouts per 9 go down from reliever to starter. So you're good, and you're better at this. I don't know what the reasoning behind it is, why you want to continue to try to be a starter when clearly your best spot has been a reliever. And we're not talking 1 or 2 years where we're getting this information from. This is over your whole career so far. So I've liked him as a reliever. I think he's better as a reliever. I think that's where he belongs.
There you go. Hey, Diamondbacks took on the Dodgers in Los Angeles. The Dodgers walked it off in extras on Tuesday. They got Teoscar Hernandez back to help reinforce this offense that's already dominant. And I don't think anybody has a problem with the Dodgers offense. It's been the pitching staff. They're hurt. The bullpen has been used a ton. And so that's what led to, that 4-game skid that they had. They did get the win on Tuesday. Let's check in with Vince of Locked On Dodgers to tell us about Teo's return and Dustin May's start on the mound. Let's take a look.
The month of May hasn't been great for Dustin, but today it was. Dustin May gave the Dodgers exactly what they needed in this stretch with a lot of their pitchers down. This is Vince from Locked On Dodgers, and it was a big win, big series win for the Dodgers. Teoscar Hernandez, his home run off Corbin Burns was the big back-breaking home run that the Dodger offense needed. But it was Dustin May who shined bright on the pitching side, striking out 8 in 6 innings, just giving up 1 run and letting the Dodgers bullpen take it the rest of the way. Lou Trevino picked up some big outs, and Tanner Scott got some redemption the night after blowing the save. He gets the save, shutting things down in the 9th. It was not too much offensively, but number 9 hitter Miguel Rojas gets on base. Mookie Betts gets on base. Teoscar Hernandez home run. And that's all the Dodgers needed in this one. We're going to talk about it all on Locked On Dodgers, where we get podcasts, and on YouTube.
Man, I'm really mad I didn't come up with that Dustin May in May pun myself, because I was firing on all dad joke cylinders in last night's show.
You have been on a heater recently with those. And I applaud you. I think they're hilarious.
Hey, JD, take us to the Tigers meeting the Cardinals in St. Louis, Cardinals trying to avoid their first series loss since April 23rd. What happened in this one?
Yeah, Tigers went with a bullpen game again. They decided that they weren't going to start Jack Flaherty. They wanted to save him for their upcoming series against the Guardians, which I totally understand.
Yeah.
Cardinals knocked around their bullpen in the bullpen game on Monday. So this is the second one that they're doing in this series. And this time it worked. The Cardinals offense came out flat. They only had 1 run on 5 hits. The big turning point in this game was in the 7th inning. Scores 3-1 at this point, and the Cardinals had 2nd and 3rd. They had 1 out, and they couldn't get a run. Jordan Walker strikes out looking. Joel Pozo flies out to center field, and it was just it was one of those where you're like, ooh, this could be where the game changes. And Jordan Walker goes down looking, and it was just it was a tough day. He had a misplay out in right field on a ball that I think he would tell you he should have caught. He kind of misjudged how deep it was going. So, the Tigers are good. Riley Green drove in 4 on Tuesday. He scores 3 times on Wednesday. Wow. Absolute menace in this series. Detroit has the best record in Major League Baseball after 50 games for the first time since 2006. If you remember, they went to the World Series that year, but who did they lose to in that series, John? Do you remember?
Would it be the World Series champion Cardinals of 2006?
You got it. Bonus points for you. But as I mentioned, they got a big series coming up. They get the Guardians for 4 in Detroit beginning on Thursday with 6 games separating them in the AL Central, as you mentioned. It's getting tight.
Speaking of that AL Central, the Twins and the Guardians finally get to play some baseball after a couple of delays and postponements. And the A's and the Angels played home run derby up in Sacramento. We're going to get into all of that and continue our look around the league coming right up. Hey, the Cubs and the Marlins finish up their series in a tight ball game. Let's find out from Sam Ober of Locked On Cubs how the pitching staff held up their end of the bargain in a quiet offensive game. Let's hear from Sam right now.
That's an outstanding series win for the Chicago Cubs. Sometimes you got to just find a way to win those 2-1 games. That's exactly what they did on Wednesday afternoon. I'm Sam Ober from the Locked On Cubs podcast. And yes, the offense wasn't great on Wednesday. Yes, they left some opportunities on the board. But how many times have they bailed the Cubs out this year? You need your bullpen, your pitching staff sometimes to get you those 2-1, 3-2 wins. And that's exactly what happened. Cade Horton had his best appearance by far so far this year. 5 1/3 really solid innings, 1 earned run. Got much better as the game went on. Avoided some trouble early and then settled in. The bullpen was really good. Thielbar, Keller, Palencia jumping back on the horse and finding a way to get the save. And then Kyle Tucker being Kyle Tucker. He was responsible for the Cubs' 2 runs. You know, when you're going through a stretch where you're missing some guys and you feel like you're shorthanded, you got to look to your superstar. And Kyle Tucker is back. Great series win for the Cubs, 30-20, 10 games over 500. Day off Thursday before they head to Cincinnati. Let's go.
That's a good place to be. 10 games over 500 if you're the Cubs. You know, Max Meyer for the Marlins had a great start in this one. It just came down to a 2-1 ball game between two really good pitchers. I saw Cade Horton before this game started, and I started a bunch of Marlins in fantasy against him. He had like a 6 ERA, and yeah, that one came back to bite me in the butt. Hey, the Orioles and the Brewers met for the 3rd time. They finished the series in Milwaukee. The Brewers have taken the first 2 games. Chuck of Locked On Brewers tells us how this series came to an end, how the Brewers bullpen might have run out of some steam as this one went to extra innings. Let's hear from Chuck right now.
The Brewers bullpen really has been taxed as of late. They're not getting long starts. They use 7 relievers in an extra innings. They could not close this one out. They lose when Tyler Alexander gave up a 4-run 11th inning. Obviously, he's not the preferred guy you want to use there, but you know how extra innings goes, and he gave up a 3-run home run. He gave up 3 hits, 4 runs, and that was that. Brewers could not sweep the Orioles. They take 2 of 3. They move on to Pittsburgh. They'll face Skeens coming up on Friday. And the Brewers do not know who they're going to throw on Thursday. They're still trying to make that decision. Winning streak comes to an end, off to Pittsburgh for a short road trip. We'll see you a little bit later on tonight on the next edition of Locked On Brewers. Please subscribe.
Yeah, an interesting way that this one ended up across 11 innings as the Orioles take this one 8-4. JD, Tony Mansolino's first win as the interim manager since they fired Brandon Hyde. What do you think?
I mean, it's nice to finally get off the schneid, but the Orioles still stink. Like, it's just so bizarre watching this offense struggle. I didn't have a lot of faith in their pitching, and it has clearly been a problem.
Yeah.
But I did not see Adley Rutschman being as bad as he has been. Right. Did have a 3-run homer in this one in the 11th to give the O's some cushion, but just his 5th home run of the season, first dinger since April 20th, hitting .213 on the year. It's just weird to see somebody who should be in his prime at age 27 not being the guy that we thought he was going to be, when just a couple of years ago it was like, this might be the best catcher in all of baseball, and now he's not even being mentioned.
Yeah, it's the vibes are down in Baltimore right now. So I mentioned it earlier, the Guardians and the Twins finally able to finish their game from Monday. That one got postponed. They were going to finish it on Tuesday. Then that had a rain delay. So they finished it on Wednesday, 6-5 win for the Twins for the Monday game. And then they met again for the game that they made up for. Justin from Locked On Guardians shares how Mother Nature finally gave these teams a chance to play and how his team was able to get it going at the right time. Let's hear from Justin of Locked On Guardians right now.
Mother Nature finally relented a little enough for the Cleveland Guardians to play some baseball on Wednesday. And they showed signs of life, splitting the 1.5 game doubleheader with the Minnesota Twins. This is Justin Latta from Locked On Guardians. The Guardians showed some signs of life late in game 1, tying the Twins late in the 9th inning with a 3-run outburst that tied the game at 5. The Guardians unable to seal a deal in that one, though. Cade Smith, who was literally not human a year ago, has been a little more human this year, gave up runs in that one, but the Guardians bounced back to win Game 2 and probably the best performance of the year from Gavin Williams. He has strung together 3 straight good starts now at a really important time, and probably the best fastball of the season for Gavin Williams. Even though it was down by 1.5 miles, the most whiffs on the fastball he's had all year, the best control he's had all year of all of his pitches, and he got into the 6th inning, which is really important. The Guardians' offense came to life. Stephen Kwan, Jose Ramirez was on a heater all of a sudden, and that's really important for the Guardians because they go into Detroit this weekend for a massive 4-game series. Tune into Locked On Guardians every morning for more analysis.
It always amazes me how, taking off a tick or two off of a pitch just gives you so much more control over that pitch. And it was obvious with Gavin Williams over his last 3 starts, 16 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 7 walks, and 20 strikeouts. So Justin's not lying when he said Gavin Williams has had 3 great starts in a row. Let's take it to the Reds and the Pirates, an NL Central battle concluding in Pittsburgh as the Reds and Pirates play for the series win. Let's go to Gary of Locked On Pirates, and his team put a smile on his face for a change, and he's going to tell us why right now.
Pirates get a great game out of Henry Davis, and they take the series against the Reds here, 2-1 at PNC Park. Hi, this is Gary from Locked On Pirates. Excited for once. This team actually performed pretty well against the Reds. Boy, the Reds' bats were cold in this series. You could blame the Pirates pitching staff the same way I blame the Pirates offense every time another team shuts our offense down. But Henry Davis really came to play today. 2 singles, one of them RBI, walk, threw a guy out trying to steal second base. Really kind of did a Statue of Liberty play at home plate to receive a relay throw and get a tag at home to preserve the lead late. Andrew Heaney bounced back from a rough start and worked through a lot of trouble to get to this one. Brewers come to town next. NL Central play continues. Hopefully it keeps being a good thing for the Pittsburgh Pirates. More on this tomorrow on Locked On Pirates. We'll do another live episode at 12:15.
Yeah, nice smile on Gary's face. He mentioned the Reds offense, JD. Tell us what's been going wrong with the Reds offense lately.
Well, the guys that they thought they were going to build this offensive around have just not been producing. Ellie De La Cruz, one of the most dynamic players in the whole league. Nobody's disputing that. But so far in May, he's hitting 182, and he's got 26 strikeouts and 77 at-bats. That's not going to get it done. Now, when he does get on base, he's running wild like he did last year, but he's not getting on base as much. And then you got Matt McClain, a guy that was not on the team last year, was out for the whole season with an injury, which was a big blow to that offense because he was really good his rookie year. And they were expecting huge things from him. And last year, gone. Coming back this year, started off pretty good and then has just went straight down. He is hitting 172 on the season. And in May, he's got 27 strikeouts and 69 at-bats. So those 2 guys who are supposed to be 2 top hitters in your lineup not producing, that's a problem. And you're seeing it on almost weekly basis with the Reds where it's like they have one game where things go really, really well and they're all excited about it and they won 5 in a row because things are going well. And then they come crashing down and it's just been a very inconsistent season for that offense.
Yeah, especially, they're all in this season, especially bringing Terry Francona out of retirement to come manage this team. And that's certainly an indication of, hey, we want to do something this year, but they just haven't been able to stay consistent with it. Hey, let's take it to the Mariners meeting the White Sox in Chicago. They split the series so far, and in the series finale, a close game saw 6 total home runs, 3 from each team. Ty Dane Gonzalez of Locked On Mariners has the way this one shook out, and there was a certain hero in this one for the Mariners. Let's take a look.
Leody Taveras' first home run in a Mariners uniform lifts the M's to a series win over the White Sox. This is Ty Dane Gonzalez, host of the Locked On Mariners podcast here. Mariners win 6-5 on a trio of home runs from Julio Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh, and of course, as I mentioned, Leody Taveras. And it was once again the bottom of the Mariners lineup picking up the slack when they needed to the most. An inning prior to Taveras' home run, the top of the lineup had an opportunity to take the lead. It was tied 4-4 in the top of the 7th. They weren't able to come through. And then on the bottom of the 7th, the White Sox took the lead. The Mariners had their backs against the wall, but they struck right back. Rowdy Tellez with a leadoff double to set up Taveras' 2-run home run, and the Mariners bullpen able to hold on the rest of the way. Carlos Vargas was gross today. He was awesome. And then Andres Munoz doing what he has done all season long. Mariners heading to Houston for a big 4-game series. We'll talk about this win on the Locked On Mariners postgame show. Hope to see you there. Peace.
Man, if you're a Rangers fan, you got to be kicking yourself letting Leota Taveras go. And then he ends up on the Mariners helping him win games when you're trying to battle the Mariners for first place. So speaking of the AL West, the Angels and the A's met in Sacramento. The Angels are looking to make it 6 in a row while the A's have lost 7 straight. JD, I mentioned it earlier. It was a home run derby in Sacramento. Now, fortunately for my Halos, Logan O'Hoppe put up 2 in this one, a combined 901 feet, the second longest home run of the year across Major League Baseball. One of them was 470 feet. Do you want to take a wild guess who has the first longest home run this year?
My brain and heart would say Aaron Judge because he's a massive human being.
It's actually Mike Trout. So the Angels own
Trout!
1 and 2. Trout hit one 484, and I was actually in person for that one, and it was everything you wanted it to be, all 484 feet of it. Zach Neto had his 8th home run of the year. He missed the beginning of the season, didn't return until April 18th. He's already up to 8 home runs. He's being a stud at shortstop. But then I mentioned the A's also got in on the action. Lawrence Butler had a 3-run home run, and then the A's 2024 first-round pick, Nick Kurtz, who was recently called up. He had 2 solo shots in this one, but my Angels hang on to win it 10-5, make it 6 in a row, hoping to make it 7 on Thursday. There you go. Sizzling,
That's the
baby.
Sizzling Angels. They're so hot right now.
Finally, it was Devil Ray Day. Devil Ray 90s hat day down in Tampa, JD. The Astros and the Rays met up for this one. The Rays hit 4 first pitch home runs. The last time the Rays hit 3 first pitch home runs in a game was July 2nd, 2022 in game 2 of a doubleheader against the Blue Jays. Hunter Brown, who's been pretty good for the Astros, tagged up for 5 runs on 7 hits across 5 innings, gave up 3 home runs. So when it comes to the Devil Rays or just regular Rays, what do you prefer, JD?
Man, it's something menacing about Devil Rays. It just sounds cooler than Red. Like when I say it, when I just go Tampa Bay Red, I feel like something's missing every time. And maybe it's because we started as Devil Rays, and so I was just used to it. But yeah, I know why they took it away. You know, people, it's kind of a religious thing. I get it, but at the same time, I still kind of like that cool name.
Hey, especially when the Angels and the Devil Rays would meet up. I mean, you could do a whole lot right there. Angels versus Devil Rays. I love that. Finally, the Braves and Nationals postponed, JD.
Rain is stupid. Here's the thing. Do you think that moving forward, any stadium built needs to have retractable roofs?
Oh, especially if it's like the Midwest. It's ridiculous that
rule.
You think about the Twins playing where they play in Minneapolis.
Detroit, when they play in the snow in March and April when the season first starts. Like, that's not fun.
No more of that. By the way, I just want to let you know it was 89 degrees in LA today, here in LA. Just saying.
Shut your pie hole, John.
Hey, that's going to do it for this edition of Locked On MLB Game Night. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you want to catch the audio version, you can do that wherever you get your podcasts on the Locked On MLB feed. For JD Hafron, I'm John Frisch. Thank you for being here. We hope to come back and take another look around the league with our hosts of Locked On MLB Game Night, where it's every game, every night.